Hello, and welcome to another book review.
You nerd!
Unfortunately, I have to deliver. Not the best review today. This is one of the most disappointing book reviews I'm ever going to probably give. This book is Alchemised by senlinyu. This is the most overhyped book, I think, that's out right now. I'm just going to be very honest. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh my god, it's the best book I've ever read. It's so great. If you go into Barnes & Noble, it's on a table. They want you to read it. I was influenced into buying this book, frankly. I really just wanted to allow the influencers of Instagram to influence me into what book to read next. And this is what I ended up with. So this is my own doing. The cover spoke to me. And when I picked up this book and I read what it was basically about, alchemists versus necromancers in a war, I was really sold on that. And then I heard people telling me, well, it's kind of like a dark Harry Potter romance book. And I was like, okay, I don't know, why would that need to necessarily try to be a Harry Potter romance book when the plot of necromancers versus alchemists is cool within itself? So I was willing to hold on to that. I was willing to let it be what it was. This is a 1,000-page book, 1,024 pages to be exact. And you have 3 parts put into one book. And it, in my opinion, it's definitely trying to do Harry Potter things. Some things a little too on the nose, if you ask me. And it doesn't work at all. I don't think it works. I don't think it should have ever tried to do that. I think that the original plot idea for just necromancers versus alchemists and the dark themes that already exist in the book, it should have just leaned into that instead of trying to appease to a young adult audience. Like, why? It already has dark themes in it. Just lean into it. Especially if you're gonna make it 1,000 pages, you better commit. And it doesn't. It doesn't for me. It gives you this whole warning in the back. There are heavy themes in this book and reanimation of body parts, hence necromancy. And to me, it just sort of still tries to be this young adult book, and I just think it fails miserably at it. What's so disappointing about this is that the first 400 pages of this, which are supposed to be your female lead who wakes up as a prisoner of war, she is trying to recover her memories, and she's in the High Reeve necromancer's care. She's his prisoner in his house, and he's performing psychic torture on her, and it's just so incredibly repetitive. This book should have been edited down more than half. Way more than half. And frankly, it was just poorly executed. It had so much explanation to achieve that it should have just been a first-person story. That's where it also fails. It is written in the third person, which I don't think works. That's clearly what Harry Potter did. It even goes as far as to this is the same font as Harry Potter's books. This is the same, almost the same exact font to the text itself. Yeah, it just should never have been written in the third person perspective. I think that was an atrocious idea. I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe somebody can clarify this in the comments. I'm sure people will be very opinionated in the comments, and that's okay. People are welcome to disagree with this. I welcome people to disagree with this, but every person that I've come into contact with who has read this book can't quite tell me why they even like it. It's quite something. So everybody seems to be confused. I'm just gonna help you out. It's not well written. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. I thought this was, I know this is a big achievement for the author, GG's, that's great and stuff, but I think people in her corner just weren't honest with her, because she had a masterpiece here and it could have been something great. It had great bones to it, but somebody clearly got in her head and told her that she could write the next Harry Potter series, and it just ruined it. Whoever this editor is should be fired. This needed at least a year more of editing. This was rushed. The best thing that I can say about the story, just to sort of piece it together the best way I can, is that, like I said, you are following the perspective of a female healer who's an alchemist. She wakes up as a prisoner of war. She's trying to recover her memories. You find out that the person that's holding her captive, the High Reeve necromancer, who's technically a general, they have a history together. And the first 400 pages, which is the first part of the book, is just so repetitive and goes nowhere. I wanted to throw the book across the room. I mean, that could have been less. That could have been at least 70 pages. Didn't need to be 400. Then you time jump the second part of the book, which is figuring out how she got there. So as you're learning about the politics of all this stuff, of how the war even happened, what is being built to get you to these twists and turns in the story, these characters aren't really being built with enough substance to them. There are all these characters that are just sort of thrown about with all this great deal of importance, but the author doesn't really show you anything. She's just sort of telling you things as she's trying to show you things, but very, very quickly. You don't really spend a whole lot of quality time with these characters that actually play a huge role later in the story. And it actually caused me to be really, really resentful at the main character, as well as the people that I'm supposed to be rooting for. The good side, the resistance, if you will. That's what the alchemists are called, the resistance. I know what the writer was trying to do by like building all this like, well, they're the good guys and they believe and they just want all these good things to happen for the resistance. And it's like, I'm just wanting the necromancers to just come and wipe them all out, because the other issue with this book was that you had no idea how modern their technology actually was. It was very difficult to visualize what the world was like, what they were kind of supposed to look like, how modern this fantasy world is supposed to be, which to me should be the best asset and the most creative part of this, of how something like this should be written. I felt like the author just quickly wrote descriptions without really sticking with the fluidity of explaining and building a world. It was just sort of quickly thrown about. This is not worth your time, okay? No matter what anybody tells you, if you actually want to know what it's about, honestly, just look it up online, and it's fine if you really want to read it, but I'm just telling you, it's so underwhelming. I hate to be that negative. I don't want to put down another author's work. So I'm sorry to tell you this, but this was not edited enough. 2 out of 5 stars for me, simply because I was so bummed out at how good this book could have been. It had great qualities to it. It had a female character that was very troubled and struggling, but it just, she was just so frustrating. This female author wrote her female lead to pretty much not really have much of a sense of self. I mean, she just sounded like a lost cult member the entire time, frankly. And that was really annoying to have to stick through. I don't know. Me as the reader makes it sound like this was just sort of, again, thrown about, and all her friends told her that she was the next J.K. Rowling, and they were just gassing her up and not telling her the truth. Sorry.